Well, it's the 3rd of May, 2014, and we are out at the north shore of Lake George doing a fun experiment, a field project experiment, field trip for EMSC 1006, the Blue Planet. So we've come out here with our trusty steeds, big 25-passenger van, and about 60 plus students, 62 students by my last count. And today they are sampling the old shorelines that exist out here in the northern shore of Lake George. You can see several undulations, a little terraced area here where there is old sandy material that indicates ephemeral water, old lakeshore areas, and they're coming here to sample them to estimate the historical water depth and changes in water depth. So, practical is led by yours truly, Nicholas Engerer, co-convener of Blue Planet, and this is one of my favorite parts of the course, and it is just so much fun to get out here, even if it is a little bit wet and windy. We're having a good time. But here we go, here's some of our equipment. Earlier today, we used a soil auger to dig into the ground vertically, downward. You can see there's a nice hole there, and that's actually pretty deep, actually, if we measure down. We've dug about 70 centimeters. You can see that here we lay out our core. So what we've done here is we've created our own soil profile, laid it out on some plastic. You can see at the very top we have this, like more of a soil vegetation layer showing up. It's not very thick because it's fairly young, moving into, it is very clearly a sand. We get very washed out light bits of sand, sediment, a little bit of roots growing into it. And then we start to get some thicker things down here in terms of the size of the quartz granules. They're a little bit bigger, other rocks, tiny little rocks in there. And it changes very, very quickly into what's indicative of a shallow lake bed, where we have some more clay-y material here. You can see how it clumps up together. And if you dug down even further, you might get to either thicker clay, which indicates more deep water, or you might even run back into another sandy layer. So we'll take a look at some of the things that students find today. And it'll be pretty interesting because they're going to be digging a lot of holes out here. Should be pretty fun. And then the whole idea here is that we can use the soil as a proxy for figuring out the average rainfall of a given period, because the lake level here goes up and down with a given amount of rainfall that happens in the Lake George catchment area. So if we see these different shorelines here, they indicate that the lake used to be steady at this depth, at this depth, at this depth. We can see that. We can see what the change in depth was at those different locations. And from there, we can use some fancy mathematics, some lake balance equations to then back up and guess the average rainfall from a given period, which is really cool because this is how we get climate proxies. Very similar to things like stalactites or ice cores, looking at gas bubbles in there, or mineral content, carbon dating of things. This is a way of looking back in the past before we had rainfall gauges and getting an idea of what climate used to be like, which I think is pretty cool. So that's just one of the many awesome things we do in the Blue Planet. I'm going to get back to figuring out what some of these students are doing and take some pictures of some of their cores.
Sorry.
We're starting to see some clays in there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Don't worry, I'm taking a video. I'm trying to embarrass all of you at the same time. Most people I find look like you. Bundled up.
Should I measure it? Yeah.
How's it going, guys? Did you find some sand? Looks like it. Cool. Digging a core.
I think there's still clay.
Feels like it.
This group has found a lot of clay.
More
than any other group so far.
Yay! That's fun.
Resourceful.
It's better than the rule.
Really cool.
Okay, still clay, guys.
Anyone who thinks
Very
boys
cool.
shouldn't do that sort of thing?
Very cool.
Oh, but there's a drink